Hey, Truth Seekers, welcome back. I want to do a follow-up on the space incidents last week, the rocket explosion, and the SpaceShipTwo crash. Also, I want to educate you about whenever you see these quotes and hyphens around words and headlines, it's a good word to practice your gematria on because often you'll find a 33 or another one of the numbers that they often code, as is the case here. So let's just get into it. Well, let's start right here with what they got up on the screen. Notice it's the NTSB SpaceShipTwo slowed too early. That's the reason coming from the NTSB. I've already done one post prior on this. It's linked in the comments. This is a follow-up. Okay. So first, the gematria of slowed. With simple English gematria, it sums to 78. Remember that number. It's going to come back up. And then with the other method where what you do in this method right here, this second method, is you write it out with the exact same number sequence, but instead of doing a plus between every single number, you just do a plus between every single digit, and you add them all as single digits. If you do slowed that way, it sums to 33. Notice that 3 plus 3 equals 6, and notice that 78, 7 plus 8, equals 15, and then 1 plus 5 equals 6. So they both reduce to 6. That's the check. Also, recall that this crash happened on Halloween, October 31st, 2014. You'd write that date 10/31/14. The numerology of that date is 55. NTSB, the gematria of that is 55. The spaceship that crashed is SpaceShipTwo. It also has a gematria of 55, which I showed how to calculate in the other video. It's linked below. Remember that one followed the crash of the rocket from earlier in the week. It should be noted that both of those crashes were supposedly essentially space vehicles that were owned by private companies. However, the rocket thing did take place at the NASA facility. All right, here we go. That rocket was called the Antares 110 rocket. Look at the gematria. It is the exact same as the word slowed, the word they just put on the screen. Slowed is 78 and 33. So is the rocket. And this is what I've noticed when I do this research, is that so often they'll go through these streaks of coding the same types of numbers into multiple stories. Just the other week, there was a bunch of 82s, and then the designer died at the age of 82. That's the kind of patterns I see. I don't know the full meaning of it. I imagine it ties in with numerology, astrology, history. I want you guys to know that what I'm sharing with you, I feel like it's just a piece of the puzzle. I think it's a big and important piece that's been missing, but it's just a piece, and there's other pieces that need to be discovered, and that's what other people are working on. So just remember that as you watch my videos. I'm just giving you a piece here. All right, so we got all these 55s, the same coding. And then real quick, I want to review what we have right here. Recall that this happened on Halloween. In gematria that I teach, 3 letters turn to 5. N, because it's the 14th letter, 1 plus 4 equals 5. E, because it's the 5th letter. And W, because it's the 23rd, 2 plus 3 equals 5. So the word new becomes 555, like the number sequence they like to show in the movies. Oh, shoot, this is blurry here. Let me see if I get that more clear. Okay, that wing, that sequence, SS6, reduces, S can reduce all the way to 1. So 116 is also the same as 911 upside down. That SS6 becomes 116. Also in gematria, the word country sums to 116 or 116. And then that sequence of EEN becomes 555. So if you're reading these numbers as words, theoretically that could be a sequence that says new country. Could that be a hint at what's coming? New country. Possibly. I mean, there's some reason they want to put those numbers in front of us, right? This spaceship that supposedly fell 52 miles out of the air, but yeah, somehow the wing is still perfectly readable. We can see Virgin in the number letter sequence. It's because these people are numerologists, you guys, and this is how I caught on to this in the first place. I was staring and trying to understand these news stories. I could see that they were some sort of weird puzzle for a decade, but I never put it together. And then when I learned about this gematria thing and I started learning a little bit more about numerology, I said, aha, because I started noticing the important numbers were before our eyes all the time. I just wasn't conscious of them, so I never thought about it, you know? Consciousness. The other thing, you guys, is this Antares rocket. Where's it at? This one that blew up first, that they keep showing the explosion of. Isn't it funny how they love to just show us explosions, explosions, explosions? It's amazing how many times I've seen that explosion on TV. One of my subscribers, he's done some really good research. I'm going to link that on my written blog, freetofindtruth.blogspot.com. He's looked at the imagery within it, and he's extracted something out of that that's worth taking a look at. He has a better eye and understands astrology better than me, so I can't communicate it as well as he has, but I will link to you what he's researched for me. Also, the other thing about this Antares rocket is how the number 110 is coded into it. Again, the World Trade Centers were 110 stories tall. The Hoover Dam, which is in threat right now, has Lake Mead behind it. It is 110 miles long. The Hoover Dam had San Francisco and Kansas City encoded into it with all this other important numerology that corresponded perfectly with the 110th World Series that just happened. This rocket was Antares 110, and it blew up at 6:22. That date, that number, it comes up a lot in this research, and most recently on June 22nd, TNT released the show The Last Ship. I believe that's what it's called, The Last Ship. It came out June 22nd, and the plot of it is that 80% of the world's population is killed by a viral outbreak. So you just see from all these different angles, from our news to the shows that are released, you see how all the information links up, and then you even see how all the numbers link up. And the thing about TNT, you guys, is Turner is a 33 word. It started by Robert Turner III, better known as Ted Turner. Robert is a 33 name, so is Turner. He's the third. His birthday is November 18th, 1938. Set on that digit for digit, 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 8 plus 1 plus 9 plus 3 plus 8. It sums to 33, so he has a life number of 33 as well as these 33 names, being the third. He founded CNN in Atlanta, Georgia on the 33rd parallel north. ATL, the abbreviation is 1 plus 20 plus 12. It sums to 33. Georgia is the fourth state, 4. The gematria of Georgia sums to 44. The word kill sums to 44. In Georgia are the Georgia Guidestones, these massive stone pillar monuments with rules for a new world. Remember, this thing has something to do with new country, possibly, this little coding up here. Rules for a new world, and the first rule on it is the scariest one of all. Maintain the Earth's population at 500 million. The thing about that is, to get to 500 million, 13 out of 14 of us would have to die. Something like the show that was released on TNT June 22nd, about an 80% kill across the world. So, if you guys think all this is insanity and impossible, I would encourage you to look back at history and ask yourself where the Native Americans are that were once here, where we now stand. Where are they at? They were wiped out by variola, something with a gematria of 33. The word Indian sums to 33. You go to our periodic table, you look at the 33rd element, atomic number 33, it's arsenic with an atomic weight of 74 point something or other, but there's this 33-74 pairing, but it gets worse. The word arsenic also sums to 33. You see that so many harmful things sum to 33, as well as 44, the word that sums to kill. From E. coli to cancer, they sum to 44. The full name for E. coli sums to 88, just like the word poison. And the thing is we're told these things happen by accident, or they're the process of poor farming practices, or it just naturally gets into our water supply, blah, blah, blah. I think those might all be lies, people. I think they've been actively trying to kill us and limit us for a long time. And the scary thing is it really could get worse. They might have much bigger plans. So you shouldn't be someone who just simply dismisses it and just goes on with your life trying to pretend it, because that's what people have done for too long, and that's how we've gotten to be at this day and age. I hope I'm wrong about everything I'm saying, you guys. I don't want to be a fearmonger and scare you. I just want you to think about history and reality and the world we're living in right now. I mean, think about how many people aren't as fortunate as we who get to live under roofs and have food and access to the internet. I mean, think about how many people on this planet, their quality of life has never been anywhere near that. So that's the other thing to keep in mind. I mean, there's people on this planet right now who are already suffering much worse, which means we could suffer much worse. Yet, it's scary to think about. That's why we got to wake up, you guys. That's why we got to share this. We got to start uniting. We got to start working together. We have to put more energy into this. People have to come out. We have to come out of the intellectual closet. That's what we're in. We're in the intellectual truth closet. We're scared of all the naysayers. But the thing about the naysayers is, you guys, is they're wrong. And you can show them they're wrong. You don't have to tell them they're wrong. You can just show them all this evidence. They'll realize they're wrong. In time, if enough people start speaking out. All right, I'm going to end the rant.